Hello and welcome to another Moog demo library. In today's video we're going to be exploring Muse, and in particular we're going to take a look at the diffusion delay. The diffusion delay is a digital delay that's been modeled off some classic golden era rack processors from the late 70s and early 80s, but we took a lot of time to tailor the sound of the delay to the voice on Muse, so the two make a really nice pair, and the diffusion delay is a great way to add some dimension and space to the sounds that you design on Muse. So for this example, I'm on timbre A and I've initialized the patch, so I just have a single oscillator set to a sawtooth, no filtering, and I've tightened the VCA envelope to give me more of a plucky response like this. This will just be a nice way to hear the effect of the delay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to engage timbre A in the diffusion delay. And because there's two timbres per patch on Muse, you can actually independently determine which one hits the delay, whether both of them do, or if you want to maintain a completely analog signal path, you can fully defeat the delay. But for this, I have timbre A assigned. I'm going to turn the mix up and let's hear how it sounds. So as you can hear, we get a pretty straightforward digital delay sound. And one of the major features of the diffusion delay is that you have independent control over the left and right side of the delay. So let's go ahead and set the left delay a little bit slower than the right delay and hear how that sounds. So as you can hear, we get this nice effect where the delay is jumping around in stereo, and while it sounds like a proper ping pong delay, it's just two independent delay times in stereo. But if you do want a ping pong delay, there is a setting available in the More menu. But for this particular video, we're just going to focus on the panel controls for the diffusion delay, and we will have a follow-up video that will cover some of the things that we can do on the More menu. So there's a few different ways to control the delay times. And the two main ways to alter the control scheme are via these two switches. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to engage the link delays button. And what that does is make it so that the time on the right side of the delay will control the delay times for both channels. And the time knob on the left side is just going to control the spacing between the two delays. So if I set this to noon, I'm going to get pretty much the same delay time between the two of them, and then I'll be able to adjust the right side to control the timing of both of them. So you can see if I push it down, we can watch the LEDs get slower together or faster together. And so this is just a nice way to control everything. And one thing that we can do is say we set the spacing so that we find a nice division between the two of them. Now if I like that, I can then just adjust the right delay and slow both of them down but maintain the rhythmic relationship between the two channels. Now another thing that we can do is engage clock sync, and what that's going to do is force both of the delays to snap to the nearest musical division of our master clock, whether it's the internal clock or external clock that you feed in. And then as you adjust the time knobs, they're only going to be allowed to jump to the nearest musical division. So I'm going to set this knob back to noon and then choose a delay time. And so you can hear as I change the delay times, it's just jumping between musical divisions. You'll also notice that when I change the delay time, we won't get the pitch artifacts that you might associate with a BBD delay, and that's because we added a cross-fading mode that allows you to just fade between the different timing taps when you change the delay time, so that you don't have to deal with some of the harmonic complexity of the pitch effects that would happen on an old delay. If you do want those pitch effects, they are still available to you, however, in the More menu. Now another thing that we can do is adjust the character knob, and the character knob is able to do quite a few different things, but by default it's set up to act as a DJ style filter, whereas I turn it clockwise I get a high pass response, and I turn it counterclockwise I get a low pass response. And because this filter exists in the feedback path, it means that as the delay continues to repeat, it will get more and more filtered in whatever mode you have the filter operating at. So let's hear how the low pass sounds. So as you can hear, that removes all the top end in our feedback trail. And now let's listen to the high pass response. So as you can hear, that gives us something that almost sounds like a tape delay, where as the feedback occurs and we get our trails of delays, they slowly start losing the bottom end and just focusing in this high mid-range. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set independent times between the two of them so I can get a nice rhythmic division, and let's hear how that sounds. So as you can hear, the diffusion delay is a really flexible processor that allows us to get all sorts of different tonalities and really add some dimension and space to the sounds that we design on Muse.